Well, let's go straight into it. Attacq was founded in 2005 and listed on the JSE in recent weeks. It has accumulated assets valued at over 13.3 billion rand since it was founded in 2005, mostly on either side of the N1 from Johannesburg to Pretoria. Market cap of 10.4 billion rand. The listing, did it all go as planned?
I think so. I'll just kick off here. It went well. It was well received. The book build prior to the listing was heavily oversubscribed. I think this team comes with a substantial reputation. They've done a number of development work, as you mentioned there, in this sort of property spine. This particular listing is principally that Waterfall Estate area. But Evan, I think if we could kick this to you, give us an overview of the history of the Atterbury property investment people, what Attacq is, and where this fits into the group strategy.
One of the standout things about Attacq is not so much the assets at the moment, it's really the team. These guys have been around for ages, and as an unlisted company, they were probably the best known group there was. Their development skills are really second to none. So now coming to market, despite them being a new listing, they've been a private company, but very well known to the listed investment community for quite some time. Around about 4.5 years ago, they actually sold an amazing portfolio of assets through to Hyprop. The likes of Clearwater Mall were one of their developments.
Give us a little bit more about the quality of the underlying assets or properties.
The properties, the in-force properties are really quite good, mostly A-grade retail and office, but really the excitement comes through the development pipeline, and it really comes through in the Mall of Africa. It's going to be 116,000 square meters of brand new A-grade super regional retail, which is really second to none, and you should see the demand coming through with regards to tenants is very, very exciting at the moment.
Paul, this sounds like one that we should have gotten involved in.
Well, there were people who were friends of Morris Wilkin and the management team. There are others that have been around with, what's his name, Fanavat, I think is the one guy. So they were all party to the process. I'm not quite sure who got scrip in the listing process, but you can go and buy them now. I mean, they're trading at 16, 17 rands a share, so if you like the story. As far as the Mall of Africa is concerned, I just want to clarify. So we're talking about this big new development infill around the Allendale off-ramp in the sort of Buccleuch to Allendale kind of area. It's just kind of between Midrand and the northern stretches of Johannesburg. Evan, are you confident that that area, which already has the whole Fourways Mall area, it's got Sandton, it's got the Woodmead kind of developments.
You think maybe there's overcapacity there?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think there's overcapacity with this one. And speaking to management with the likes of Morne Wilkin, who's now the CEO of the company.
Yes, not Morris, sorry.
They come into market.
He's obviously not a friend of yours.
If they had to put up shopping centre now, they already have the captive market. Now they say over 100,000 houses or households at the moment, and there's still significant development coming through there in that estate. So I don't think they're going to have any problems with regards to demand. And if you look at the likes of Fourways and Sandton, there's a significant stretch to get to those areas. So I think they're very safe with regard to the target market.
You mentioned that it was retail and industrial. We're staying away from residential on this one.
Retail and office, not really much industrial at all. They're buildings within that same precinct. For example, the Cell C campus is going to be 40,000 squares of prime grade office there. And there's certain other office developments they're building in that node.
But no residential?
No residential, no.
Just a question from my side is, what is in Attacq as opposed to what's still outside of the Atterbury Property Group? And then what investment exposure does Attacq have to the Africa exposure, the Africa part of the Atterbury guys' activities?
It's quite a difficult or convoluted structure if you want to look at it. But
property is always convoluted and difficult to understand.
Well, they made it a lot easier than it was before. They have, you must think of Attacq separate to the Atterbury now. They are separate entities. Atterbury has more of a development arm, of which they actually own. Attacq owns 25% of that. But if you want to look at Africa, and again, the percentages of each, the exposure to each development varies, but they have an exposure to the Mall of Mauritius. They're building a 55,000 square meter shopping centre in Namibia, as well as a stake in Accra Mall at the moment in Ghana. And they do have capability to build beyond this.
Hot or not on Attacq, Paul, are you convinced?
Look, when the listing came through, I saw some interesting comments on it that people felt that perhaps above 20 it was a little too rich, and that people ought to be looking at offloading them if they were lucky enough to have them at that level. I think it was a note that Peter Armitage put out from Anchor Capital. We didn't really have any interest in those, except one client of ours who's an architect who must have gone to school with the boys over there, because he got an astonishingly large allocation and they came whizzing in from Computershare.
It's a very long way to get to hot or not.
I think it's fine. I mean, what I'm hearing and how the sector's going and the quality of the management team, it does look hot to me.
Evan, hot or not?
Unfortunately, good company and not that great a stock at the moment. I think it's run its course now on 17 Rand. They came to market at 14.50. Prior to that, the highest price it ever touched was around about 13.50. So I think as a share, I'm happy to say not.